Welcome to Breaking Free, expert advice on changing your mindset to heal your body and mind. My name's Kim Wagner, and today we have the pleasure of Kat Dawes' presence. Thanks very much for joining us, Kat. A little bit about Kat is an artist, and she's a passionate promoter of the present moment and takes a stand on behalf of the now. She's the creator of Nowism, implementing an iconic global consciousness campaign. Welcome, Kat.
Hi, thank you for having me, Kim. Such a pleasure.
No problem at all. Kat, can you tell me a little bit about your journey, how you came to begin Nowism, how you became to create it?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and there's so many ways I could answer that. But honestly, ever since I was a tiny little human, I was always deeply interested in our origins, like I am me, I am me, and I learned at a very young age that my consciousness was this thing, and I was so intrigued by that, which led me to be interested in God and the universe and things like that. Now, on the flip side, I was also a trained dancer. I grew up in a ballet school, and so my life led me through theatre and singing and acting and this sort of thing. So over the years, and as I grew into a bigger human, I sort of cross-pollinated the two concepts into performance philosophy, and Nowism is now this beautiful series of consciousness campaigns that teaches people how to consciously participate in the present moment, but it has a sort of a level of humor and play to it, as well as the depths and the wisdom and all of the coaching and all of that side of it, which is obviously very important. I truly believe that entertainment is the great educator. So that's in a nutshell how the brand sort of came to be. Yeah.
Oh, that's really awesome. So I guess when you were doing dancing as you were growing, that was a good way to express yourself as well and just live in the now, because when you're doing expressive dance, you don't stop and think, you don't follow routines, you just do how you feel.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And that, I guess, is probably the core of what Nowism is, I imagine, in a nutshell. It's just feeling the moment, not thinking too much about the past or the future, because we are just now.
Absolutely. And also to be in a sweet dance with the universal laws, whatever that means to the individual, because there's definitely a intelligent design behind the scenes. And so as we develop a relationship with that and get into true alignment with that and start to sort of dance with that presence, something really magical starts to take over. And it's something that we're honestly not taught, but later on it's often caught by our interest, and that's that's sort of my little story in a nutshell.
Yeah, and I agree with that, because when we're kids, we can play and carry on and do what we want to do and be happy. But when we go to school and as we progress through school, we're told how to be, how to think, how to behave. And if you wriggle too much in your chair, you've been given a label, or you're a naughty child, or you've been given detention. Whereas it's actually just play, which is what we are. And it's about being ourselves. And I guess growing up, I know myself, I certainly felt different because I knew there was more. At times, did you feel that you were sort of a bit sort of on your own to the left as well?
Oh, definitely. The weirdest one of all. Definitely. And there was some part of me that knew that that was either a great asset or it would take me down.
Yeah, I totally get that.
It's like I'm either a genius or a crazy bagly. Depends.
It's incredible, because when you're a younger person, particularly a teen, and possibly particularly a woman or a female, you don't want to be different. When you're sort of, I guess, in your early teen, you just want to be the same as everyone else and accepted and what have you. It's not really good to stand out. But as an adult, I've always been different, and a teenager as well, but I did hide a lot of that. But I found that I'm just my weird self, and you either like me or you don't. And I find that over time, as time's gone on, more people have realised that it's so important to capture your true self, and live your truth. Yes. And you'll find that with you doing your Nowism, that often people will look at you and think, wow, I wish I could do that.
Definitely. At a lot of my speaking events in the past, I've had people come up to me after having done my thing, and I'm quite physical, and they've said to me, "Wow, you really don't care what we think, do you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's true." And they're like, "Wow, like there's a level of freedom in that, isn't there?" And like in leaving school, I think at some point I I realized that no one really knows what they're doing. Actually.
Yeah. And sometimes we still don't.
You know? And so for me, that was like an extreme creative license to now break open and take the risks of truly being me and banging around in what I'm not to a degree in order to uncover that. You know, like life is certainly a adventure of more an adventure of uncovering to the truth as opposed to getting to it, you know. And I think that's a really important part of the universal law that we can understand as we grow into it, you know.
I agree with that. And it's also, we would probably, as younger people, not want to try certain new things because we might fail. We might look silly. People will laugh at us.
Yeah.
But the reality is that those mistakes that we make, or the slips that we have along the way, actually make us who we are. And you don't learn and grow until you make those mistakes. And
100%.
Actually, sometimes they're not mistakes. They're learning experiences. And you think, okay, well, I'll do that again, but I'll just do this differently. And hey, that was so much fun along the way.
Yes, exactly. You know, in Nowza, we have a little segment called the eviction from the comfort zone.
Oh, I like
you know, and it's like at some point you have to break through this layer, and whether it has been inherited by society or parents or religion or wherever you're getting the layer from, you know, at some point, usually we just know that there's something else. And at some point, if you're smart enough to align and shine with who you truly are, you sort of have to evict yourself from the comfort zone, you know. And then what's so remarkable about that is on the other side, you realize it was quite a fabricated fear.
Yes.
You know, that it was not really truly something that was holding you back. It was more a concept that was plaguing your entire system, you know.
Yeah, I agree. And often when what you think is difficult, impossible, or scary, as soon as you hit that and you break through that, it's so freeing. It's like, wow, that was awesome. It wasn't even that hard. And I can't believe it took me so long to give that a try or to break through that. We have so many beliefs. We're told by society, by basically everywhere you look, this is how we are. This is how as a woman, this is how you behave. This is what you're capable of. This is what you're worth. That's all.
It's all crap.
It's
bullshit. It is bullshit. And you know what? And now I have two terms to sort of encapsulate that. You know, I love the humor and the entertainment, but you know, one of the things is being dictated to through mediocrity, which is definitely the lowest common denominator of society. And it's a fear, doubt, lack, loss, worry. It's actually a virus that is coming at us through every single system that we can imagine. It's very tricky to avoid. And then it becomes momentarism. Momentarism is this contamination of the present moment through a habitual thinking and feeling through the filters of fear, doubt, lack, loss, worry, scarcity, frustration, anger. It's like a virus, and it's passed around via us. You know, it is really a global cultural issue. We're accidentally snagged on a level of negativity here, and therefore, which what brings us to the present moment and to actually practice something like Nowism will help individuals basically emancipate from these systems that are holding us back, you know.
Because they're everywhere. And I've got teenage kids, and literally every part of their life is bound around social media, but be it, you know, they're Snapchatting, they're Instagramming, they're whatever. And there's probably 99% of it is really toxic. There's the occasional people that are fighting for justice and what have you, and equality. But it's really, really hard for our kids that are growing through this as well to realize that that's all garbage. It's all made up and it's not real. And we actually have the ability to make the changes within ourselves to make our lives better.
Exactly. They're actually experiencing a sort of mutated version of the issues that we had at school, you know, like, so for instance, bullying and things like that are taking place. I mean, you and I never had to experience what it meant to be like slandered publicly on Facebook or something. I mean, I'm actually so grateful that I grew up without social media.
without mobile phones and cameras. We would have a disagreement with someone and then go home from school. And then the next day you'd go back and it was either, you know, it was nothing like it is today. You just can't get away from it.
No, there's a massive distraction. In saying that too, like all things modern, there's a great gift in it as well, right? And, you know, the opportunity to self-educate, these sort of things. I mean, it is an incredible time in human history. However, it does require a level of conscious participation to navigate it gracefully.
Yeah, I agree. And you do need to actually put that effort in. It's not something that, because we're surrounded so much by the negativity and all the tendrils of it, I guess, is that you actually physically need to make that decision to do it, and you need to focus on that. And it has to be consistent, because otherwise you'll just slide back into those same habits that we're born with. So it can be a bit of a battle until you master that, I think.
Yes. Yeah, it's a true story. You know, I hear more and more parents talk about screen time and this sort of thing. Like just, you know, I mean, it's integrating a level of discipline, which in Taoism we call it blisscipline, you know, like where you actually, it's a great gift, you know, to create that balance.
Yeah, that's really awesome. When I was looking on your website the other day, you said on your Nowism page, how can I stay positively focused in a world full of negativity? Can you tell us a little bit about that, or can you perhaps give us a couple of your little quick tips or hints that might help, you know, in an average day?
Yeah, sure. So just as we were basically discussing, like there is an onslaught of negativity. So there is a muscle of consciousness that is required to help us like become impervious to the negative frequencies. So, you know, in Nowism's curriculum, which is like it's a spiritual curriculum, it teaches simultaneous awareness, basically. So we look for little in-between moments of time to actually practice consciousness. So one of the problems with the New Age movement is that people feel like they've got to leave their lives to create transformation. They've got to go to the retreat. I've got to go to the 2-day seminar where I can block out all those things. The problem with that is that when we return to our lives, all the same things trigger us. So, you know, the first base with Nowism is understanding that the currency in the game is your attention. You're paying attention and you invest attention. So from there, we look at ways to get airtime, as if you're a broadcasting facility, like a radio station, you know, looking to get airtime with good vibes, high vibes, positive vibes. And so, you know, I mean, the most obvious place to begin would be, you know, gratitude. That's a very classic teaching, you know, and it's funny because it's quite a cliche thing these days, the gratitude journal, you know, practice what are you grateful for, you know, but you know, when you really understand the spiritual technology of gratitude, it starts to put you in a reverential understanding of what that is. You see, gratitude is, it's as Dr. Joe Dispenza would say, I'm going to quote him. He says that gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. So meaning that the energy, when we're grateful, it means that we're in a level of fullness. It means that we're in an overflow and we're in the I have and I am energy. You know, the misuse of gratitude is that I'm waiting for the thing to happen so that I can feel grateful. You know, we actually use a lot of emotions like that, and emotions are essentially creative packets of energy. But the misuse of emotions is that we use them as a reaction to life. So something happened and then I felt this, then that happened, then I felt this. So, you know, and then I had a birthday celebration, so I felt celebrated. You know, we wait for all of these things to happen so that we feel the vibes. So Nowism really brings you into conscious participation in the present moment and a creative response to life, so that we're actually learning how to induce these energies, these frequencies, without needing life to change around us. But to bring it back to your question was, you know, what are some tips and tricks around that? So the first one is gratitude. Definitely gratitude. What a sweet.
I'd agree.
Yeah, like it's just such a it's a powerful shortcut to the now. You know, like it takes you right there. You know, the other thing is to actually start rehearsing your best case scenarios. You know, we tend to rehearse our worst case scenarios. You know, like, well, what if this goes down? What if we don't? What if it doesn't work out? You know, well, what if it does work out? You know, like what do you need to become now in order for, you know, like you to match the identity of your future brilliant best case scenario? You know, so now we work a lot on visioning, on taking the dialogue, which is often a monkey commentary that's going on
and around,
right? And we give it the right tools to play with, you know, because you know, a lot of our thoughts, like, you know, we have like something like 70,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot of thinking. Now, I always think if you got a printout at the end of the day with the average vibe of what you've been thinking about, think a lot of people would be shocked how common it is to feel concern, worry, doubt, frustration. So, this is what I mean, but now is conscious participation in the present moment. And you've got to get interested in what it feels like to feel freedom, what it feels like to feel ease and flow and creativity and play, love, confidence. These frequencies require investment from our attention, and then also activation and workshopping. It's much more common these days for people to feel concerned and worried than they feel inspired. So therefore it's like going to a gym. So another great tip for your audience is to reprogram some of life's moments. So for instance, red lights, something that all my now ninjas now program their red lights is an opportunity to go into a complementary state of awareness of something that they love about themselves. And so instead of sitting at the traffic lights and bitching about like being late or whatever the thing is to allow that red light to now be a happy trigger, a trigger to remind me, what's something that I absolutely adore about myself, and to be in a celebratory tapestry of words in your mind, say it out loud, whatever. But the point is that then you spent 10 seconds, 30 seconds, or whatever the red light gives you. You spend this little packet of time consciously participating. That's really good nowism. And that's really you creating a powerful future from your present moment.
Absolutely. And after you do it for a few times, I mean, the brainwaves, the neural pathways, start to create. And it's interesting. I know that Dr. Bruce Lipton was talking about beliefs, and up to 70% of our beliefs are negative and limiting. So, and that's scientific. That's not woo-woo-ism. That's real life. And with Dr. Joe Dispenza as well, I've done a lot of research on I've done a lot of reading with his work as well. He's quite phenomenal. And it's interesting to see that if you do make a decision to make that conscious change, like you said, at the red lights, or washing the dishes and being present, and using that as a new way to change your thoughts. And then over time, you strengthen that muscle, like going to the gym, and that becomes your new normal. And it's so much better to be happy at a stoplight than to be bitching at a stoplight, or washing the dishes and actually enjoying the quiet time to yourself rather than whinging about
get it done.
All the work. So I think it's important just to take every second.
And Kim, that's the bit that we can't teach anyone. Like with all of my clients, all of my students, all around the world, we take a vow to now. But you've got to decide that it's important for you to get a higher average to the general vibe that you feel, and so it's really a conscious choice. When people activate their free will in a conscious way like that, and then they catch themselves out at a red light, I'm starting to get frustrated. Hang on a second. What if I was just grateful? What if I just noticed something that I love about myself, and you switch it in that moment? Now you're starting to fire and wire those new neural networks. But it's also important to understand that those old neural networks, those old grooves, we're very addicted to our old personalities, very addicted. And so sometimes when we go to change, especially old habits that really don't serve us, and so say you're trying to drop something that does not serve, it's very important to understand that your entire chemistry rages like a machine when you try to make a change. That's why it's so hard to change, is that you're actually addicted to the old chemicals. And that's where Bruce Lipton and Dr. Joe have some amazing science around that stuff,
Yeah. But when you do break through it, or you do make that the new habit, it's just ease and flow.
So great. And you know what? Then you turn up in the right place at the right time. You look lucky. Things that seem magical start to happen. And that is my favorite part of my divine romance, is that when I'm in that dance and I'm in a flow with the Great Spirit, then something seems to take over, and I'm in the right place at the right time. And I've got so many extraordinary stories of alignments, but I know what I did on the internal.
That's right. And sometimes it takes a little longer. They're not always instant. You don't think something and suddenly, bam, it happens. Sometimes it can be, a little way in the future, but it still comes. It comes when it's ready.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I love it. It's life-changing, just living in the now. Absolutely. So your website, you've got a whole heap of stuff on there. I did some researching, and I see you've got some beautiful courses, and you've got some amazing blog posts, and you do speaking as well. So what I'm going to do underneath the video when I make it live, I'll put a link to your website so everyone can see all of your details. And anyone who would like to find you and doesn't have access to a pen right now, but anyway, it's www.katdawes.com. And I'd like to thank you so much for your time today. It was really lovely to catch up and to discuss things with another like-minded person. It's beautiful.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your work too, because it's you that is helping distribute this great message during this time. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Big loves.
Thanks.
Ciao.
Bye.